Hello, namaste.
Namaste.
So good to see you. Hello. Just wanted to check that your voice and our voice and camera are working.
Can you hear me? This is Mihir Bhatt.
Yeah, we can hear you. Am I
Yes,
audible?
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello,
Sarah.
good afternoon for you. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Hi, Sarah.
All good, all good. I just want to double check with you if I'm going to, I need to share my screen, like my slides, or you are going to do it?
You can do from your side, and if you want us, then we can also.
I mean,
Whichever your
let
preference.
me double check if I can share because
Yes. Hello, Bikramji. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
I think I can't now because you are sharing. So if you can share my
Okay, so
slides.
soon you will be co-host in 1 minute, in a minute.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So, Manishi. Hello. Hello, Manishi.
Yeah, Manish Bhai is joining.
Okay.
Manish
So,
Bhai.
yeah, from my slides, I think you can present it. I can just stop.
I would advise both keep it ready because in case something doesn't work that well.
Okay.
Yeah. Vikramji Ramroja.
ठीक से.
Sarah, can you check it now?
Yeah, sure. It says that I can't because you are sharing in the moment. So I don't have problem with you if you share my slides. I will let you know when I need to change of the slide. So I mean,
So we have stopped sharing.
okay.
हमारे पास है ना
I don't know why, but
it's okay.
can't.
So we have your presentation, our colleague Manish, and upon your signal, he will show the PPT.
You can see my slides
now we can see. Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We are waiting for a couple of minutes and then we will start officially. Hello, Kathy, welcome. Let's start. Hope you can hear me, and request, if you are with the good network, please keep your camera on. And there are people will join more and more, but because of time limit, let's start. Hello all, welcome. Happy to welcome you all for today's virtual roundtable on parametric insurance solution for all. Before going to start, first of all, Eid Mubarak. Eid is a time of celebration and reflection. The spirit of Eid emphasize compassion, generosity, and helping those in need, aligning closely with our action that we all are connected with humanitarian action. For us, it is a perfect time for having roundtable discussion on solution that in favor of vulnerable population. We have experts and also dedicated individuals and organizations that constantly engaging in range of actions for promoting and strengthening solutions. Parametric insurance is a revolutionary approach that provides quick, transparent, and efficient payout based on predefined triggers. We all are eager to listen and share experience and lessons, as we have limited time and it is full of expertise. So let's move ahead. Please use chat box for introduce yourself. Please use chat box for asking questions. Do not wait until last 15 minutes for open discussion. That will help us for better management of time and also for open discussion. Please use chat box for any resources, any knowledge resources that you think that we all should aware of. We will have 7 to 8 minutes for each speakers. We will keep open discussion at the end of all 4 speakers' presentations. For opening remarks, we would like to request Sarah, who is economist and political scientist, work as regional coordinator for Latin America and the Caribbean at Microinsurance Network. Sarah, welcome and many thanks for joining. Over to you.
So thank you so much for inviting me. I just want to double check if you can see me well and hear me well.
Yes.
So, okay, perfect. So it's truly an honor to join you today at this important virtual roundtable on parametric insurance solutions for all. I would like to extend my gratitude to the All Indian Disaster Mitigation Institute for the kind invitation and for organizing this crucial discussion. So I would like to start to briefly share with you who are the Microinsurance Network and why we support this type of events, which are fundamental for the development and strengthening of the industry. So the Microinsurance Network are a global network founded 21 years ago. We were born out of the World Bank CGAP to unite key insurance stakeholders and strengthen the resilience of vulnerable populations. Today, we connect more than 500 experts from 50 countries, including regulators, insurers, international organizations, among others. And our work focuses on 3 pillars: market insights, industry training, and strategic networking to foster key alliances. And one of the most relevant developments in this area is parametric insurance, which represents a key innovation within inclusive natural disaster and extreme weather events. And well, and why do we consider this the right time for development of parametric insurance? So the impact of natural disaster, it's a reality that continues to grow. In 2024, global losses reached $320 billion, but only 140 billion were insured. This means that more than half of the losses weren't insured, leaving millions of people without a financial backstop to recover. And in this context, parametric insurance emerges as an innovative and necessary solution to close these protection gaps. Unlike traditional insurers, which requires loss assessment and lengthy claims processes, parametric insurance is triggered automatically when a specific event occurs. And this allows funds to reach those who need them most quickly, ensuring a faster and more effective recovery. And according to our landscape study of microinsurance 2024, our flagship project, currently in parametric insurance protect more than 43 million people worldwide. And this represents a great opportunity to strengthen climate resilience. So the microinsurance market, including parametric insurance product, already reached a value of $89 million in 2023, and is expected to continue growing at an annual rate of 5.1 until 2032. And this growth reflects an increasing interest in innovative financial mechanism of providing effective risk management solutions. So the message is clear here. So the time to scale up parametric insurance is now. We need to adopt financial solutions that ensure an immediate and effective response. And it's time to close the protection gap and ensure that help arrives when and where it's more needed. So from the network, we have identified some key barriers that limit the scalability of parametric insurance. One of them is that is very common is lack of knowledge and understanding. So many communities and potential policyholders are unaware of the benefit and working of parametric insurance, which genders adoptions leads to distrust of this product. So the second barrier is insufficient data and infrastructure. The implementation of parametric insurance requires accurate and up-to-date data on weather events and other risks. Other barrier is high cost and accessibility. Although parametric insurance can be more efficient than traditional insurance, its implementation requires advanced technology, data models, and weather monitoring stations, which increase upfront cost and makes access to this product difficult in low-income communities. And to overcome these challenges, collaboration is key. So insurers, governments, and multilateral agencies must work together to increase awareness of these products, improve data infrastructure, and reduce costs, ensuring that parametric insurance is an accessible and effective tool for global risk management. So I want to share with you some key best practices to overcome barriers and promote the expansion of parametric insurance. So first, it's crucial to ensure that both insurers and clients understand this product through training programs, which will help reduce basis risk and align expectations. In addition, it is essential to have robust data sources and accurate methodologies to define triggers, ensuring fair and timely payouts. So we must also ensure that payments, parameters, and mechanisms are understandable and aligned with policyholders' need to foster trust and adoption. And it's important to engage regulators to create flexible regulatory frameworks that facilitate innovation without compromising consumer protection. So fostering collaboration between the public and private sector is key to strengthening the implementation and financing of these insurers. So finally, developing training programs for policyholders, intermediaries, and regulators will improve understanding and proper use of the product. So these practices are fundamental to overcome barriers and enable greater adoption of parametric insurance, benefiting more communities and improving risk management globally. So as a side note, I wanted to show a very interesting case study. So the catastrophic agrarian insurance is a successful example of a parametric insurance model based on yield indexes in the Latin American region, designed to protect vulnerable farmers in Peru against natural disaster. And this insurance covers subsistence farmers who rely on small crops against catastrophic events such as drought or frost. Most notably, the Peruvian government fully finances the premiums without farmers having to pay on a roll. So this product use a parametric model basis on a yield index where damages are evaluated according to climate and productive indices. When the disaster occurs, it is quickly activated and farmers receive a fixed indemnity of approximately $200. Since its launch, it is expanded its coverage, benefiting more than 700,000 hectares of farmers. So this insurance not only offers financial protection, but also strengthens resilience to climate change. So if you want to know more about this case study or another case study in Latin America, you can let me know. But I want just to conclude, I wanted to close these opening remarks with a call to actions to all key industry players. So innovation in insurance, especially in parametric insurance, is critical to strengthening financial resilience and protecting vulnerable communities from climate and economic risk. So I invite you to collaborate and work together to scale this solution, ensuring that no one is left behind on this path of more inclusive and resilient future. So I hope that through this webinar and all the invited panelists, you can enjoy, learn, ask questions, and together we can build a better future for all. So this is all from me. So let's move on to today's highlights of the day. And I'm happy if anyone wants to contact me or know more about the microinsurance network. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's really useful. Microinsurance network strategic inputs really valuable in our sector. So thank you so much for sharing, as well as also for sharing good practices from Latin America that useful for triggering encouraging learning exchange between Latin America and South Asia and beyond. Thank you so much. With this, now would like to request our colleague Manish Patel to publish the latest issue of SouthAsiaDisasters.net and share the web link in chat box. It is 218th issue that dedicated to insurance solution theme. Each and every issue of SouthAsiaDisasters.net dedicated to specific theme relevant to the field of humanitarian action, disaster risk reduction, and climate resilience. It is reaching out to over 20,000 individuals and organizations, and it is saved by over 1,000 authors across the globe. This particular issue brings together leading voices from across sectors, government, civil society, international organizations, and the private sector to share practical insights, policy recommendations, and experiences of designing and deploying parametric solutions. With a strong emphasis in collaboration and innovation, this publication calls for greater investment, data infrastructure, and policy alignment to mainstream parametric insurance as a critical pillar of disaster risk reduction and climate resilience in South Asia and beyond. Thank you, Manishwa. Please use and share and this web link among your network and individuals who have interest in reducing risk among vulnerable population. Thank you. Now, with this launch and opening remarks, let's invite Kathy, CEO of Climate Resilience for All. Kathy is a leading expert for climate resilience and sustainability. She drives initiatives that enhance climate adaptation and resilience worldwide. Thank you, Kathy, for joining this roundtable, and also thanks to you and your team at CRA for contributing very interesting article, Heat Adaptation Finance for Women, in this publication. Over to you, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I am delighted to be here and very grateful to All India Disaster Mitigation Institute for their partnership and expertise and for this morning. And I am so enthusiastic about insurance as a tool for adapting and supporting communities impacted by extreme climate events that I would come on at 6:30 in the morning. And I am here at 6:30 and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you very much. May I share my slides, please? I think it is as easy as that. Is that right, Vishal?
Please.
All right, let's do that. Okay. There we go. All right. So I want to start by saying that all of to put parametric insurance in context. And I want to talk a little bit about the field, and then I want to get specifically into some of the highlights we included in our article in the journal that launches today. And when you think about this solution, all of these experts on today's call are coming through from a slightly different direction. And I want to say that Climate Resilience for All, which is a global NGO dedicated to the strengthening and supporting women and vulnerable communities, health and income in the face of extreme heat. So we come at it very specifically, extreme heat and the differences between the way extreme heat impacts and solutions are landing and being experienced by women. And so in addition to thinking about women and extreme heat, we have an expertise and a long history of using insurance in creative ways to help finance climate adaptation. And so while it is not yet a mainstream practice, parametrics themselves are not new. But what is so exciting about them is that, and this has been featured, the flexibility and the rapidity with which they can pay out. And the important points that I want to drive, and there are 6, and I've decided to add a 7th as this morning unfolded. I want to go through those points, but first I want to point out too, and I see Annette Detkin is here from Insure Resilience, and I want to say what that field of expertise and practice that is helping to drive the capacity of actors across the world to use this tool and to do it well. And so we have, as we heard from Sarah, the Microinsurance Network, but there's the Insurance Development Forum, Insure Resilience, the Global Shield, the NDMA in India has immense expertise, AIDMI. So there are more and more places where this expertise is available. And so for practitioners everywhere, the lesson I'd like to weave in is that there is, when you have actors come into a field and there is clear interest from governments and donors to use this tool, that maladaptation is possible. And that the positive point I want to drive is that we want to use it and use parametrics in a way that continues to support our understanding, knowledge, and learning and effectiveness for people most impacted by climate and least equipped and resourced to handle it. And so let me now proceed. And I'll share that Climate Resilience for All is a close partner to the Self-Employed Women's Association, to AIDMI, and many others. We also work in Pakistan, in Thailand, in Sierra Leone, and Liberia, and Ghana. And so where parametric insurance makes sense in a package of things, we are continuing to evolve the way that we use it. And there are lots of lessons, and we could go and spend, each of us, hours in Zooms to understand and really share about specific aspects of them, one of them being data sources. And I'll say, for an example, if you have a product, a parametric that is going to pay out based on a temperature threshold, the temperature gauge or weather station may be 50 kilometers away from the woman who is insured. And so is that temperature reflective of her experience and what's happening for her body in her conditions, and her working conditions? So there's lots of room for us to improve our data sources and understanding of how to best calibrate them for the use of protecting, improving, sustaining, and growing health and livelihoods. And that's, of course, CRA's perspective. So let me go to the next one. Is that the next one? Let's see. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to jump right into the case study, and I know there'll be some discussion time, but as I said, we're Seva's partner, and we experimented and then scaled a parametric in combination with risk reducing elements. And I think that's one of the biggest points, is that in populations and communities with limited resources, transferring the risk is just a piece of a puzzle or a package of supports that are essential for reducing risk, transferring risk, raising knowledge and literacy around heat science, heat interventions, and including early warning systems and physical things that help reduce the risk, like umbrellas and tarps and solar lights to work at night, and cooling stations, and white cool roofs and coatings. And so all of those things are an essential component. And so when you think about a program, we're not just raising money and investing in premium, you're also raising money and investing in things that reduce the risk and elevate the risk literacy of a community to make decisions that are informed. And some of that is early warning, some of that's understanding the science. A lot of that's about understanding, and Sarah said this, what are you buying? And in our case, and you'll see from this chart, and I won't go through all of it because 8 minutes will go by, and there's a lot more I can share about this and things from our website, is that the bigger point of reducing the risk and transferring the risk, we're all in a journey together to learn as quickly as we can as the temperature continues to rise, and not just the temperature, but the heat conditions and urbanization and in-migration and all the things driving the pressure that's hurting people and their livelihoods, particularly women. And I want to say one particular, just take a minute on this. And it may seem to some of the practitioners, or many of them, that it's obvious that women are disproportionately burdened by extreme heat, but I want to make sure to drive that point because it's profound and it's profoundly disproportionate. And the burden is not only physiological, but also for so many exposed informal women workers, which is the focus of our organization. And there are approximately 800 million informal women workers in the world's hottest places, and just getting hotter. That the types of things we're talking about when we say we want to support health, we want to support the information, and also the information to know how to conduct your business if you know it's going to be 50 degrees. And we also want you to have the resources to not expose your body to that deadly hazard. And so putting those two things together is, the challenge when we don't have a guidebook that says, this particular community of women or people at this age in this place doing this job, this is the temperature threshold at which you should set the trigger for the insurance. And so the field is growing. So we're building the field, and all of us on this call delivering on the field at the same time. So let me say the upshot of this program, which is to support income that is lost to extreme heat, requires understanding all of that. Our partners, again, Self-Employed Women's Association, Dr. Sahil Hebar and Dr. Rajvi Jashipura are our key partners, with Director Rima Ben Nanavati. And in doing this, we learned so much about the lives and experiences through the grassroots leaders of SEVA, and also how to build a product that's going to work. And when I talked about maladaptation at the beginning, what I mean is if we make mistakes and miscalculate or push too far on the basis risk, or we provide a product that never pays, these are all the challenges, and I'm going to go into the 6 lessons. But the upshot is, of the 50,000 members in 23 districts in 3 states, 100% of the women had the cash support layer, that is the social support, set at a lower temperature. And of course, insurance for the worst of the worst set at a higher temperature. 92% of insureds, of participants, were receiving payments from between $7.50 and $19.80, something like that. And so it's replacing per day income, and the average we calculated was about $3. And so let me get into the lessons real quick, and then I know we'll get into the discussion, Vishal, so thank you. So I'll pop through these and we can come back. So the first is extreme heat is silent and deadly, killing more people than any other of the climate hazards. And other things are driving it, things we can see, things we cannot see. And our human brains are rather feeble, and the acceleration of the threat is more than we can take in. And so many communities, leaders say it's just hot, and it's been hot. And I'm sure many on the phone here have had that same experience. And it's not just hot, it's getting hotter and it's deadly. And so we have to move and act and help bring everyone to the level of heat literacy needed to survive and thrive in spite of the heat. Again, insurance alone is not enough. It just can't hold in the size and shape of these risks and impacts. Building insurance literacy is key, and we've talked about that. Managing the basis risk. You're always going to have it with a parametric, and maybe we can talk about basis risk, but it is essential that people understand what insurance is, and that you may have a hazard and it may not pay, and balancing and educating and discussing that is really important in raising that level. Parametric insurance can help poor communities come out of debt. Forecast-based insurance is the future. That's a big one. That's a webinar all on its own. And so I think I've run my time. I thank you very much and look forward to the conversation, and am deeply grateful for the partnership with AIDMI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really, as always, energetic. Thank you so much, Kathy, for this presentation. What is CRA's experience from this, and partner SEVA and other stakeholders' experience on parametric insurance is really, shaping and encouraging many other individuals, organizations to promote and strengthen these practice programs at ground level, for not only for India, but also outside globally. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Recently, National Disaster Management Authority, Government of India, designed and conducted very interesting dialogues around insurance solution that promoting and strengthening this much required call for collaborative action. We have here Shishirji. Many thanks for joining the roundtable. Shishirji is a senior consultant at NDMA, specializing in disaster risk financing, risk transfer, and sustainable finance. Many thanks for your recent efforts in shaping much required policy discussions and writing in the publication. titled Developing and Upscaling Innovative Parametric Insurance Solution. Shishirji, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalji, and thank you, AIDMI, for giving me this opportunity to speak in this interesting and informative platform. So I will be making a small presentation. However, the presentation is a very basic one, so I will be skipping on the basic points, and we also have a shortage of time. So I will be covering the main points in the presentation, and just so can you see?
Yes, we can see. If you can make it a big screen, large. Yes, thank you.
So this is a basic introduction to parametric insurance. So as Sarah and Kathy have already stated out, so I don't think so that I need to tell about the parametric insurance. So everybody right now knows the key differences from traditional insurance, that in the parametric insurance we don't need loss assessment, because the claims are made on a predetermined thresholds and indexes. So indexes can be a rainfall index or a seismic activity index. So in India's context, it's a very early stage development with pilot projects. So there are like 2-3 projects which already are in progress. You must be knowing about the Nagaland and SBI General and Minicray partnership. So state of Nagaland has already obtained for a parametric insurance product for 3 years, in which a rainfall index is being taken as a threshold. So if on particular locations and regions, rainfall exceeds a particular limit or an index for a particular time, so they will be getting the claim. The first claim has already been made of 1.06 crores, I guess, in last week. And we are still exploring models for agriculture, infrastructure, and natural disasters in India. So again, this I will be leaving out right now, because you know that how parametric insurance works. So yes, but the challenges, as Kathy stated out very pertinently, because there are 2 things. First, the basis risk, and she gave a very good example about a lady who is working 50 kilometers far away from a gauging device or something like that. So maybe extreme heat condition, the device gauges the extreme heat condition is quite different from what that woman is suffering. So these are the few of the risks and challenges we have to take care of, and we need a very high quality and reliable data. So now we are talking about the applications. So in applications, it's agriculture insurance. We are already working on that, because due to the very easy to get data from IMD on rainfall. So drought, rainfall, and also heat stress we can easily determine. And it also complements the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which is a government of India's own insurance scheme. So I will talk about the micro insurance part. It's very interesting what Vimo Seva and Seva are doing in the country. More than 50,000 workers are being insured. And it's a very, very good case study. And I really want that, it should be spread across the country. Recently, there was also a similar kind of an insurance in Delhi, in which Go Digit Insurance Company has partnered with KM Dastoor Reinsurance Brokers. So you must be knowing about it, that what they have done is that when AQ, air quality index in Delhi, is crossing the threshold of 400, and if out of 3 days, it's crossing the threshold of 400, the construction workers are about to get a payout of 6,000 rupees roundabout. So it's also a very good scheme. So Seva, I guess, has pioneered the scheme in India, which others are following. And I seriously hope that this goes on for long and everybody understands its value and importance, and how we can ensure our daily wage earners from the heat stress and the rainfalls and other pollution or whatever, which hinders their income earning capacity. So now I will talk about the India's progress in parametric insurance. So it's very interesting that ADB, Asian Development Bank, has it's initiating a TA, technical assistance for India, and it will be for 3 states, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So Department of Economic Affairs has approved the TA, and NDMA along with ADB will be working in these 3 states for a pilot project, and will be devising some innovative parametric risk insurance solutions. So as Vishalji has already told that NDMA is already working in this. So NDMA, Department of Financial Services and Insurance, we are collaborating on policy framework in India. Last 2 years have been quite busy, in which last 1 year was, I will say, quite fruitful also, because we were able to come up with an experimental insurance product, which we sent to DOFS and which was further sent to GI Council. And it's with the insurance companies now to further refine and improvise the product. Then we are also exploring natural catastrophic bonds and risk pooling models. Recently, NDMA held a one-day workshop with UNDP in which risk pooling models were discussed. And it was also a quite informative workshop. In risk was partnered with UNDP to devise a risk pool model for the whole country. Insurance companies, as we already know, they're designing new parametric insurance products and partnership with tech firms for data-driven solutions. Now we have to learn a lot from international best practices. For example, CCRF is a small thing, but India, in context of India, it's not fully applicable, but still there's much to learn from. Then TCIP is doing something good work in Turkey. So a lot of things are going across the world and a lot of things to learn from. And NDMA is already engaged with World Bank, UNDP, and also global insurers like Swiss Re, Munich Re, to further, devise like how we can do better for our country and how we can upscale and, innovate in disaster risk financing. So the future roadmap for scale up, it's mentioned though urban property infrastructure, but I would definitely vouch for Seva's initiative for daily wage earners. And as Kathy, rightly stated, that this climate resilience for all. So that should be the motto right now, because the informal sector, they suffer a lot, but we also need to understand that every informal sector has a different altogether different ball game, and every sector should be viewed from a different angle. It's not a one policy made for all. For different sectors, we have to devise different policies and different mechanisms. Also, as the slide is coming up, but I'm not going for the slide. I hope it's okay with you guys. So I'm talking about the bridging the protection gap, because due to parametric, we can also bridge the protection gap, because indemnity has a problem that it always works on inspection basis and inspection of losses. So what happens when the time is the essence, so we lose a lot of amount, and the purpose is defeated for insurance. So here the parametric insurance fills the protection gap. But for parametric insurance, it's a much needed robust data infrastructure. So we need to invest in satellites, Internet of Things, and AI-driven analytics. And again, the trigger mechanism should be very fair and accurate, because again, the triggers are not met, the payment won't be made. So its trigger is the most important thing in a parametric insurance policy. From the government side, the government also need to be supportive and provide with the regulations to enable scalability, and public-private collaborations are very important. So I will just end up by call to stakeholders that we need to strengthen India disaster financing ecosystem, and the workshops and the webinars like this will definitely help to spread the awareness, the knowledge. I will once again quote Kathy. She said that building insurance literacy is very important. And I totally agree with, because in India, there is a kind of a problem that people, they generally tie insurance with investment. So we need to understand that, as Rizvi sir in India says, that insurance is a reasonable expense. It's something for the future. You are not investing something, but you are actually securing your future, that if you meet a certain loss, then you are covered for it. So that will be from my side. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to speak on the platform.
Thanks to you, Sisirji. Very interesting and covering all required aspects, especially about the key takeaways where you're talking about data infrastructure and also about the protection gap, which is very important to discuss. Thank you so much. Moving ahead, now would like to request Shumanta Kumar Sahuji, who is National Coordinator at UNDP India for Insurance and Risk Finance Facility. Thank you so much for joining us, and also thank you for your contribution. It is very important to have this discussion to listen more about the UNDP's perspective. Thank you. Over to you.
Hey, Vishal, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting, and I am also thanking other participants for giving their feedback, giving their suggestions and their view on parametric insurance. I have a very basic presentation, but most part of this presentation has already been discussed. Cicely is already discussed, and Kathy and other people are also pointed out rightly. But I just want to highlight few things about the insurance and risk finance facility of UNDP, where I am working, and what we are exactly doing in different countries. Is it visible, right? My screen
Not so far.
No? Okay, okay, just a minute.
Should we check?
Just a minute, why not? So, just give me a minute.
Okay.
I am a Mac user, but I don't know what happened. I have also shared my presentation with you.
So we opening it.
Yeah, please open it. I will go to slide number 1, 3, and 5.
Please. Hope you can see your slides.
Okay. Okay. So the basic thing is that the insurance and risk finance facility has been proposed by Sustainable Finance Hub, and it's approved by United Nations General Assembly in the year 2021. Basically, it is funded by the BMZ, the German Ministry of Finance. We have initial funding by German Ministry of Finance, and we got another no cost extension due to the type of work we are doing, because insurance is a very complex work. For us, probably it is not, because we have been dealing day to day with insurance, that is indemnity, parametric, all other things. But for common man, it is not a very as usual topic. So because of these things, currently we are working in approximately 40 countries globally, basically for small island developing countries, least developed countries, and countries where the vulnerability of climate impact is more. So in India, yes, we are working. In Africa, we are there. In Latin America, we are also there. So basically focusing on disaster and risk finance and insurance solutions. UNDP is supporting different countries in developing policy, developing insurance and innovative risk financing products, and also supporting government in building their capacity to understand what exactly required to cover the gap of disaster risk finance in different countries. We are engaged. We are already engaged with most of the reinsurers globally. Also, in all these 40 countries, we started our workings with government, that either regulator or the disaster management authority or the Ministry of Finance. So going to presentation slide number 3. Can you go there? Three is already discussed by Cecile. What the CCRIF is doing, the ARC is African Risk Capacity is a parametric sovereign level insurance solution that is for liquidity of approximately 39 to 40 countries in Africa. Our facility currently also supporting that facility, and previously few of our colleagues worked for developing the ARC's framework. In India and Southeast Asia, yes, we are working with Indonesian government in designing a parametric insurance solution for coral reef. And in India, we have some idea and we have some concept, but we are yet to convince the stakeholders what exactly we need to do, because the bridging between UNDP and government is yet to made. Through the JEF round 8 funding we supported in Indonesian government. And yes, in India and Kenya, we also got a funding from BMGF to support smallholder farmers, where we can integrate parametric insurance, where the crop yield estimations can be gauged through synthetic yield estimation or technology-based yield estimation, so that manual intervention and this individual indemnity-based system can be reduced, and the parametric one can be introduced. That is also we are trying to work. It is at a very basic stage. I can't discuss detail of the thing because it is yet to be published. Yes. So in parametric insurance, most of us aware now, because we have already discussed what is the basis risk. Even if there is a cyclone or even if there is a disaster, if the triggers not got hit, the claims are not going to be paid to the beneficiaries. In that case, there are so many challenges by the people who are getting impacted by the disaster. And there are it's a value chain, complete value chain is going to be disturbed. So when designing the parametric insurance trigger, we need to, as rightly said by CC, yes, we need to take care of all the parameters scientifically. And we also can include blockchain to this system. And we need to get verified, vetted data from different credible sources. These are basic challenges. In India, parametric insurance is not very popular, even though few states has shown good progress, like in West Bengal. West Bengal is implementing a crop insurance program, which is not through Fasal Bima of centrally sponsored scheme. It is a different thing, whereas the coupon rate of PMFBY center is more than 10%, but the state's parametric one is less than 4%. So that is very interesting, that need to be discussed throughout the country, how the state is able to manage the coupon rate very low when they are adopting a parametric one, whereas the national level scheme is more than 10%. So that also need to be, the government of India, Ministry of Agriculture is also trying to introduce parametric insurance into the bucket, and UNDP is the proud supporter to the Ministry of Agriculture in implementing the crop insurance program. We are also supporting government in having different mechanism how they can also implement and get data from different type of sources, that is either estate, yield, winds. There are so many technologies we are adopting through the government, and we are trying to incorporate more parametric indicators into crop insurance. These are the basic things, and we are currently working with NDMA. Proudly says it because CCD is already here. He already mentioned that yes, NDMA is partnering with the UNDP. Yes, definitely. We are trying to design a natural catastrophe risk insurance pool for the whole country. It is the brainchild of Dr. Krishna Swarup Vatsa. He is a member of National Disaster Management Authority and very, very supportive. Mr. Safi Ehsan Rizvi, he is always supportive. He is blessing us in designing this work. How this NatCat pool is going to support the country, it is in under progress. We are just doing the study, but yes, most of the things are integrated. We are also trying to add a parametric layer to this NatCat pool, which is very new to the country, because we have several pools, but that has nothing to do with parametric or indemnity base of insurance. But whereas this NatCat pool is going to include parametric insurance at a different stage. So these are the basic things. If you have any interest specific to the NatCat pool, you can reach out to me separately. And if you want to know the work of UNDP through the insurance and risk finance facility, what we are doing in different countries, you can ask me, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Sumantaji. It is very important, and what the work already, especially about the collaborative efforts that you and with the government and other stakeholders are making. So we have started with Latin America, then moved to global programs, to national level authority about the progress, to UN perspective. Now let's move ahead towards Nepal. Bikram Ranaji here, Program Manager for the Climate Resilience Program at Practical Action Nepal. He is with 2 decades of work experience in the field of water governance, risk transfer, and program management. Bikramji, over to you.
Thank you, Bisalji and AIDMI team for having me in this session. So let me share my screen. Is the presentation visible?
Not so far. Should we share our screen?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Please.
Okay, so basically on this presentation, the focus will be on residual risk management, particularly focusing on the early warning system and more focus on the parametric insurance that we have developed. So please go to the next slide. So basically, we work with the government and Department of Hydrology and Meteorology in strengthening the flood early warning systems. And this is the base for us for the parametric insurance. So basically, if we look into the early warning systems, this is the case from the lower Karnali Basin River in Nepal, in western Nepal. So if we look into the flood early warning system, so when we strengthen the flood early warning system and when the communities take actions before the flood enters into the community, then it saves lives and property. But then there are some assets like standing paddy that cannot be protected from the severe flood. So that's where we bring in this parametric insurance so that the asset that is impacted by the flood and has a larger impact on the livelihoods of the people are the focus for us to cover through the parametric insurance. And in this case, it's the paddy, rice, and the peril is the fluvial flood. So next slide, please. Okay, so what we have done is, as I mentioned, that our base is the existing flood early warning system that we work with the government. So we localize the parametric insurance with the existing flood early warning system. So in this case, if we see the flood early warning system, they have indicated that 10.8 meter is the danger level. So that's the point from where the flood enters. So from our 58 years of data, what we analyze is that 10.8 to 14.81 meter is the threshold where a lot of loss and damage happens when the flood hits the lower Karnali River basin. So we scale this 10.8 to 14.1, 14.81 as the 100%. So based on the previous flood histories, so we also allocated the percentage of loss. So this is based on the modeling that we got from our partner from the Global Parametrics that was based in UK, but then now it's with the Celsius Pro in Switzerland. So that was the indication for us how we scale out the payouts. So payouts are based on the percentage of loss, and same payout is made. So that's the arrangement. So once this was designed, so we also needed approval from the Nepal Insurance Authority. So we had to calculate this, what would be the premium for the insurance. So a calculation of the sum insured was done. So for us, for a hectare of land, it's 1,06,250 as the sum insured. And then when we presented this to the Nepal Insurance Authority, so there was a sharing and explanation what would be the appropriate premium. So finally, Nepal Insurance Authority approved 7% as the premium of the insurance product that was presented to them, and this was the approved product was rolled out from 2022 to 2024, so it's continuous. So based on the triggers set, so there were flood triggers met in 2022, so there was a payout of 25%. And in 2023, there was no payout, but then in 2024, there was again a hit of 10% trigger. So there was a 10% payout. So one of the element what we learn is that if we localize the index-based insurance or the parametric insurance with the existing flood early system, then people have a kind of a habituation because they knew that at 10.8 meter, they have to evacuate. And now they also know that when the 10.8 and above it hits, then they also get the insurance payouts if they have insured their paddy. So it's a kind of a building on what we have done in the previous years. Next slide, please. So if we look into the whole disaster risk management cycle, so just to let you know that Practical Action is an international NGO and we are not an insurance company, but why we are promoting these parametric insurance, it's basically to fit in the disaster risk management cycle, because we look into the whole disaster risk management cycle, and through the Zurich Climate Resilience Alliance, we apply an approach which is called 5C and 4R. And when we look into the prospective and corrective disaster risk reduction, there are still some residual risks that needs to be managed. So those residual risks are managed through our anticipatory actions and the early warning and early action actions. And then the new thing is the introduction of the parametric insurance so that we also manage the residual risks. That's why we are we have implemented this intervention within the practical action. So it's particularly to fit in the whole cycle of the disaster risk management cycle, and also to build the climate and disaster risk resilience through the risk transfer mechanism that we are now promoting. Next slide, please. So basically this project was funded by the Insurance Resilience Solutions Fund, as mentioned by others. So it's also on the behalf of the Ministry, German Finance Ministry and the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, and it's co-funded by Z Zurich Foundation. So we also run a program that's Climate Resilience Program funded by Z Zurich Foundation, and it's a global program, and we call it Zurich Climate Resilience Alliance. And then, as I mentioned, the partners were Global Parametrics. So that's for the risk modeling part. And Shikhar Insurance is our local insurance company who, on behalf of the project, takes the product for the approval to the Nepal Insurance Authority. And Stone Step is our digital partner to digitalize this intervention. And Practical Action, ourselves, we take the lead as a kind of bringing demand from the community and designing the product, and then from the supply side, bringing in all the private sectors like Global Parametrics, Super Instruments, Stone Step. So next slide, please. So I think I've run off my time, but then at least there is a replication what potential, and we have replicated in other river systems like in Putia River system. And as this product has been appreciated by the farmers and the local governments, cooperatives, and the visitors from different entities like Nepal Insurance Authority, provincial governments have been briefed by the farmers that this product has been really helpful for them. So that's why it generated lots of demands from the different tiers of government. So that's why we have been replicating this to Putia River in Kailali district, and there is another product that we are developing for the Bawai River system and the Patharia River system, and this will be funded by the Swiss Re Foundation. We have agreement in place and products is being developed. Next slide, please. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. I think I have ended up 30 seconds now.
Thank you so much, and being on time, really interesting. I totally understand we have very much to share on the other side so far. really went well in terms of time. And thank you so much for incorporating local context, how the practical action did it in while shaping this insurance product. Thank you so much. Great. So after all this discussion, we already have few questions, and looking at time, let's see how many questions we can cover up. Some of questions we have received directly, some of we already see in the chat box. Let's see. First question: what we work with the most vulnerable communities who have limited resources. How can we show the added value of parametric insurance so that they are willing to pay the premium? So any lessons, experience from the ground based on the good practices, successful intervention, please.
Would you like for me to answer?
Please.
Yeah, great. I'll do it very quickly. It's a challenge, and there need to be additional components to the program that help add value. So if the package of value, all told, the potential for a payout, and then what we did is include a cash layer at a much lower threshold that is just pure financial support of 2 days of income, plus an early warning system, plus things that physically reduce the risk. And so in a package of things, you can elevate heat risk literacy, but also insurance literacy and understanding along the way. And so the package starts, and in this case, the SEVA members pay a small amount toward the premium, and the rest is subsidized through philanthropy. And so the idea is that you grow over time as you understand what you're buying as the insured, as the participant. You also have these other things that help you feel like you're receiving value for the entire thing, for participating. It's one experience. I'm sure there are others.
Yeah, maybe
Vikramji, would you like to add? Huh.
Yes, sure. So basically, one of the elements that I see is that for our product, though the premium is 7%, but then we didn't have any subsidy premium in the product. But then I just give you from the example. So in 2022, it was just 935 farmers. But then one of the element is that when there was a hit or the trigger was met, there was a payout, and the payout was very quickly done, and then without any loss assessment. And this brought a lot of trust from the farmers. That was one reason. And another thing that I always say is that insurance in isolation might not function, because we have blended this with the climate resilience program. What we have done is that we have identified the poor people who could not pay for the premium. So what we have done is that we have also brought in the diversification of livelihoods for the poor people, so that they have increased income, and then they can access the insurance. And we did a survey, and then it indicated that this livelihood diversification interventions through the climate resilience program is one of the elements that can bring in the poorer people into the insurance accessibility. And another element that we always get is why don't we get the government subsidy? So there are some policy restrictions, but then still we are trying. And this year, maybe there will be a change in the directive. And one of the elements that this has brought a change in the national level is that Nepal Insurance Authority is developing a separate directive for this parametric insurance. I think that's a leap for us, and let's hope that if premium subsidy comes in the policy, then I think that will be another way of including the border.
Thank you. Next question. More and more states announcing extreme heat as a disaster. What is your recommendations for state institutions and CSOs who are working on microfinance? So it is open to all. Anyone would like to respond?
I'm happy to, but I've already had a chance. We can let someone else.
Shishirji, would you like to? You are muted, please. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I was asking exactly what is the question, like you want me
So
to
more
answer?
and more states announcing extreme heat as a disaster. What is your recommendations for state institutions and CSOs who are working on microfinance?
So definitely heat is of a very bigger concern. And, as you know, last 2 years were hottest on record. Okay, and this year also 2025 is supposed to be the like hotter than the last 2 years, which is expected. So given the stress of heat, because as you mentioned, like a micro insurance and all the informal sector workers, so many states are pitching in, and I can speak from on behalf of NDMA that we are conducting a lot of workshops specifically on heat stress and heat waves. So there was the last month. Next month also we are planning. So this is apart from telling states to prepare for heat induced disasters or heat induced deaths, because a lot of people die also due to heat waves in India, especially in northern India. So your own model, like Seva, Vimo Seva model, is for extreme heat conditions. So we can recommend states that states already have their own plans, because NDRF, SDRF funding is very much there to cope up with the challenges which are due to the extreme weather conditions, whether it's heat or rainfall. So apart from that, definitely, because private sector players, they also have to pitch in. It's just not the states who need to do it. Like all the big corporations, construction companies, they all have to pitch in, and they all have to think from a human point of view that the workers, they cannot work under extreme heat conditions. So they should have a built-in mechanism to safeguard their interest and livelihoods in that case. So again, we have to reach out and we have to spread this awareness. And I'm very much hopeful that in India these things are picking up. And in the coming future, we will be seeing much more organizations adopting for these kind of parametric insurance products for their workers.
Thank you. Question to you, Katiban. You mentioned insurance is not enough. What else is needed? Could you please elaborate more on this?
Yes, insurance is you're transferring the risk away from the individual or the entity. You also need to reduce the risk. And as Shishir said, it's just getting hotter, hottest years ever. El Nino has abated. It's still hot. There are lots of studies going on as to understand why, but nonetheless, people are going to very soon be unable to work, not just reducing their worker productivity, but can't work at all. And so what are the things that go with an insurance that help you protect yourself from the risks and impacts of, in our case, it's extreme heat. So you need to reduce those risks with a tarp over your crops or over your roof, lights at night to farm when it's cooler. It has the bonus of helping you see scorpions and snakes, which is another way to reduce your risks. There are community water tanks that you can bury and protect water. You can use an umbrella in the market. I can go on, but these physical things, community level assets like a micro cooling station in the market for head loaders. So lots of different ways to reduce the risks, including an early warning system, and in our case, specifically designed by and for women. So the information reaches and that you have the capacity to do those things. So reduce the risk, transfer the risk, educate, raise the heat and insurance, financial literacy. And we didn't even talk about financial inclusion, but we'll wait for that webinar to come. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you so much. We still have a few more. Shumantaji, please.
Yeah, Seba has a very good product. I appreciate, and similar products need to be developed, I think, in more different pockets of the country, because heat, yes, definitely it is a big concern, and heat induced loss of livelihood for different type of entrepreneurs, for MSMEs, for farmers, for dairy farmers are huge. So definitely we need to have some more innovative heat induced solutions in the country. Definitely we need to have.
Thank you so much. we have still few questions, but looking at time, I think we will respond through by email. But now would like to request Mihirbai to share way ahead areas of action, please. Over to Mihirbai, please.
Thank you, Vishalvi. Thank you so much. This is so exciting to have all of you present. The work that you have done, something which is concrete, something which has worked, and something which is evolving. And that's really very exciting. I'm thinking of the a meeting we had, Shishirji in NDMA building. Krishnaji was there, Rizvi Saab was there, and we were thinking about how to go further. This is one of the ideas which came out from that. We had the publication which was just launched, came out of it, and this particular Zoom webinar is also part of that. So it's very much taking this agenda ahead. I've been asked to say way ahead. And if I was asked to say that in 2 words, I would say go national. We must go national in India, and we must go national in Nepal, at least. I would suggest other countries as well, but who am I? Parametric insurance solutions for all is the direction for us to go. And there are 4 or 5 concrete ways that we would like to go ahead with. And all of you can also go ahead with that, which I think are both actionable and policy work as well. The first which comes to my mind from the articles, as well as what has come out from the presentations, especially from Sarah and Ranaji, your work, is that expand coverage and inclusivity, go national. So river from river, community to community, occupation to occupation, but expand the coverage and inclusivity. So that's one area where a lot of work is done, far more work can be done. That's one. Also state to state, Nagaland has done, maybe Assam will do, maybe other states will do, but how do we expand the coverage and inclusivity? The second very concrete thing we all can do, and we will definitely do as AIDMI as far as possible, is the support policies for protective and profitable regulations through ongoing round. So we don't want the insurance company to run out of business, but we also don't want the people who are insured to not really have a good life after having the protection. So how do you balance that? And that is something which is not impossible. It's very much possible with the expertise that we have here, at least on this panel and the panel out and those outside. So we must find a way to support policies for protective and profitable regulations. And sometimes that may seem very difficult, but from both examples of Kathy, your example, and from Sahuji, your work that you said UNDP is doing, I think it is very much possible to do that. And UNDP has the expertise to do that. So that to mobilize that. The third thing which comes to my mind from the presentations here and the article is strengthen public-private partnerships at all levels through demonstration projects. So we need far more active involvement of private sector, large insurance companies, reinsurance companies, other businesses such as construction, such as transportation, housing, industry, all of that. And that is what I think, Shishirji, you underlined at least twice, if not more, that it is possible to strengthen public-private partnership. This is not something that only public sector can do, only private sector can do. Insurance is not a state business. Insurance is not a private business. It's a collaborative coverage, and that should be done. And that is how it should be done. The fourth is that invest in data and technology for reducing premium costs through pilot projects. Sahuji, you mentioned about Kathy, you mentioned about how the data has made a difference, and far technologically it is possible to reduce the work that is needed to prepare for insurance coverage, to prepare for the payment and actual payment. So how do we make that cost lower so that we are not cutting down on the money that is being paid to the affected population? So that's the fourth area. And fifth area is raise awareness, but awareness for action. So how do we do that? Educating communities, but policymakers need to be educated as well, as we know, and large businesses need to be educated as well. So that and that is something which also needs to be done. So 5 areas, as I said, once again, expand the coverage, support policies for protective and profitable regulations, strengthen public-private partnership at all levels, invest in data and technology, and raise awareness for action. I must mention here the IMD's work, where they have really advanced to move from early warning to almost nearing anticipatory action related data that they are coming up with. Somebody mentioned foresight related, forecast related insurance as well. So I think that's an area we should start exploring more so that we reach more people far more quickly than we have so far. I was thinking of our work in 2001, AIDMI work, Gujarat earthquake, and we were working on recovery, and more than some 14,000 earthquake affected population had willingly paid premium for insurance coverage at the time. And since then, if I look at all the work that is being done, it seems that affected population is telling us again and again that the long-term risk cannot be insured for some and not the others. It's impossible to insure some and not the others. So how do we go national? Risk insurance coverage is the way to go. Maybe universal. UNDP is here. We have Sarah who is here. So Sarah, maybe you can take this further. Universal, but definitely AIDMI here, that how do we have national risk insurance coverage for all? Thank you very much. Thank you, Vishal bhai.
Thank you so much on very much interesting bit stretch. Sorry for 20 minutes moving beyond than what we have designed. On behalf of everyone, I extended my sincere gratitude to all participants and speakers for making today's virtual roundtable on parametric insurance solution a success. Your valuable insights and expertise have deepened our understanding of this innovative approach and its potential to drive resilience in vulnerable communities. Let's continue collaborating to explore and implement this solution for a sustainable and resilient future. Thank you all for your time and commitment to this important cause. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Again, Eid Mubarak.
Thank you so much, and Eid Mubarak, and wonderful. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.